stuff going on with the Jets. What's up? This is the Bottom Line Podcast presented by Anchor.fm, your home for sports and entertainment talk. Jimmy Finizzi, Neil Villapiano with you. We hope you are doing well. You already know what it is. Hit us up, Twitter, Instagram, with your questions and opinions at Bottomline WMCX, and on Twitter at the MVP Show. Also on Instagram, same handle at Bottomline WM6, and also at NVPQB11 on Instagram. Use the hashtag Bottomline. You already know what it is. We got a trade to break down. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into this. In case you missed the big news, just about hours ago, as at the time of this recording on April 5th, 2021.
About 3 hours ago. About 3 hours ago. It was
about 3 hours ago, at the time of this recording, the New York Jets have indeed moved on from Sam Darnold. They are trading him to the Carolina Panthers for a 2021 6th-round pick and a 2022 second-rounder and fourth-round pick, sources tell Adam Schefter of ESPN. In a recent statement, Jets GM Joe Douglas said the following, and I quote, "I want to publicly acknowledge the commitment, dedication, and professionalism Sam displayed while with the Jets. He is a tough-minded, talented football player whose NFL story has not been written yet. While all of these things are true, this move is in the short and long-term best interests for both this team and him. We thank Sam for all of his work on behalf of this organization and wish him well as he continues his career." End quote. All right, so that pretty much sums up the entire trade in a nutshell. Now, we all heard this has been an ongoing story ever since this past season ended. Are they just going to keep Sam Darnold? Are they going to get him some weapons in the draft? Or are they going to end up trading him and get Zach Wilson? Are they going to trade him to the 49ers? Are they going to trade him to Washington? The whole deal. It's been an ongoing story all year long, and we finally have our answer. Sam Darnold is now a Carolina Panther, which, look, I may be the only one. I was not expecting the Carolina Panthers to be a candidate for Sam Darnold. I know they had Teddy Bridgewater. Like, he didn't have his best season. He was okay, but this tells me that the Panthers, I don't know if they're going to keep him, but if they do, hey, maybe he can mentor Sam Darnold. I have no idea. I don't know if Sam's going to start, if Teddy's going to start. Who the heck knows what's going to go on in Carolina? But hey, you know what? Now that Sam Darnold is with Carolina, he's definitely got some help. Hey, he's reunited with Robbie Anderson, so that'll help him. He was his favorite target with the Jets. He's got Robbie Anderson. He's going to have a healthy Christian McCaffrey back. And he also has DJ Moore, who is going to be an absolute stud of a receiver. So he definitely has some help. So I have no issues there. But what this means for the Jets, this tells me it is confirmed that they will be taking Zach Wilson with the second overall pick in the draft, because there is no way on God's green earth that you trade away your supposed franchise quarterback if you are going to take Zach Wilson. There was no way you were keeping both quarterbacks. All right. And look, if you've listened for a while, that I have been a big proponent of the Jets actually keeping Sam Darnold. And I will explain my reasoning, because I have been on the record that he has been put in a multitude of unfair situations. He has had like a bunch of different offensive systems. He has had an incompetent head coach in Adam Gase. He also had a somewhat incompetent head coach in Todd Bowles for a little while. Both coaches had no business being head coaches in the NFL. And you can plainly see it. Todd Bowles won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator, for crying out loud. And Adam Gase, I mean, where the hell is he right now? But anyway, I digress. But
where is Adam Gase? I honestly have no idea where he is.
Yeah, he must have fell off the face of the earth for some reason. I have no idea, but I digress. But anyway,
I'm gonna look that up now. Now I'm curious. While you keep going, I'm gonna look
No. While you look that up, but look, the bottom line is Sam Darnold has been in an unfair situation with, quite frankly, a piss poor organization. No offense, but here's the thing: now that they are going to A, get Zach Wilson, and B, have all this draft capital, and C, get the 3 draft picks that they got in compensation for Sam Darnold. Now this might actually be a good thing for the Jets because now they have a little bit more draft capital, which means they could add even more weapons for Zach Wilson, and they can bolster their offensive line and maybe improve their defense. So this is I don't want to say this is the best trade ever, but this is a solid move for both sides. I like it for Sam Darnold on the Panthers side because now he actually has help. He has a solid offensive line. Let's see what he does under Matt Rule. And as far as the Jets, I like it for them because they have a lot more draft capital. But I will say this. If the Jets do not hit a home run with these draft picks, it ain't gonna mean jack squat. So Joe Douglas, what are you gonna do, man? This is all on you. The draft is this month, April 29th through May 1st. What are you gonna do with these draft picks? Yeah. Are you actually going to take Zach Wilson? I think so. I think they should, considering the fact that they traded away their supposed franchise quarterback. Are you going to take him? Are you going to draft wide receivers? Are you going to draft offensive linemen? Are you going to draft defensive linemen? Are you going to draft a safety? What are you going to do? Are you going to hit a home run with these draft picks? Because if you don't, you're going to have even more egg on your face, not just on you, but the entire organization is just going to continue to be an absolute laughingstock. And I'm pretty sure if you're a Jets fan, you do not want that anymore. So the bottom line is, I like the deal for both sides, but if you're the Jets, now that you have all this draft capital, what are you going to do about it? Neil, go ahead.
This is just the Jets. I mean, I'm not going to go through a whole rant. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to, once he got traded, it didn't shock me. It didn't shock me it was Carolina. Carolina clearly was looking for a quarterback because if you think about it, they were interested in Russell Wilson. They were interested in Matthew Stafford. There was reports that they were willing to trade Christian McCaffrey to Houston in a massive trade to acquire Deshaun Watson.
Right.
I mean, it was very obvious that the Panthers wanted to upgrade the quarterback position. I think that they were hoping that Teddy Bridgewater could be the guy, considering what he had done in years past with, even the Jets, and then obviously with the Saints the year before, and it hasn't worked out. Mm-hmm. And, Teddy Bridgewater is no spring chicken either. So, I mean, this is it. And we're already hearing, Ian Rappaport actually said it, that most likely Teddy Bridgewater is going to be moved, that they're not even going to keep him this year. They're going to move him. And that should be.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Kind of curious to know where he'll end up going. I'm thinking Denver because I don't think that the Broncos trust themselves in Drew Lock. I mean, I don't trust Drew Lock at all. And I could see why Deshaun Watson is rumored to go there as well. But we shall see. But let's talk about it from the Panthers' perspective first. Okay. A couple things. Number one, they just got a franchise quarterback for literally nothing. Right. And I know people want to say that they got a couple of good picks in our group chat on High Fructose Sports here. By the way, I came up with that name in case anybody would like to know.
Shout outs to that group, by the way, if they're listening or watching.
They're a Twitter group, by the way.
Yes.
You have to do a lot to get into it. We don't just allow anybody in that group chat. Anyway,
it's an exclusive group chat. But anyway.
You can call it that. You really want to. But one of the guys on there, JJ,
yes.
Good guy, very well known in Major League Soccer. He's just very well known in general when it comes to sports. Like, he's very smart. He said that he thought it was a good trade for both sides. He thought the Jets got a pretty good haul. And I would say this, that was probably the best offer you were going to get for Sam Darnold because there were probably other teams that wanted Darnold that were not willing to give up a huge amount of assets. Now, the Jets didn't get a huge amount of assets. They got a second-round pick this year, and then a sixth-round pick this year, and they got a second and a third or fourth next
rounder.
Year. Yeah, fourth-rounder. To me, that's nothing. Now, that gives the Jets 21 draft picks over the next 2 years. Just a lot of draft picks.
Right.
So this is a good thing. But sticking with the Panthers, because I'll get to the Jets. The Panthers, like I said, they got a franchise quarterback for literally nothing. Sam Darnold has never been given a fair shake in his career through 3 years.
Thank you.
He had Todd Bowles as a coach. The Jets were putrid with very little talent. The next year, they hire Adam Gase, quarterback whisperer, so to speak. And they got the likes of Le'Veon Bell. But, Adam Gase didn't want Le'Veon Bell, and he made sure that Le'Veon Bell did not enjoy his time in New York. I apologize if I'm sniffing, by the way. I have allergies, so continue. So if you have to keep hearing me sniff, there's a reason for that. Anyway.
That's the worst. I feel you there. Don't worry.
And it only kicked in when you asked me to talk, which is obvious, which is always how it goes. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. God darn it.
You were talking about Adam Gase.
Right. Adam Gase, incompetent, clearly. And the Jets continued to gut the team. They got rid of all their big name players, and they expected Sam Darnold to somehow pull a miracle out of his ass and lead this Jets team to the promised land. And that has never been done in the history of the National Football League, where a guy has taken a team to the promised land, aka winning a Super Bowl, or even getting close to winning a Super Bowl with mediocre to no talent. And having so much change in 3 years. You've had 2 head coaches. You've had 4 offensive coordinators. You have a multitude of different guys who have come in on the wide receiver group and have not stayed healthy or have just not stayed on the team. And so that's an issue. But Sam Darnold's never been given a fair shake, and now he's going to get one. Because if you think about it, they got Moore, they got McCaffrey, they have a very solid offensive line. They have a really good, support system. They got Joe Brady from LSU, who we all know was a big reason that Joe Burrow had the year that he had 2 years ago in college. And then you got Matt Rule, who's one of the best coaches when it comes to rebuilding. He rebuilt 2 different Division I programs. And he had an okay first year, but he's learning how to be a NFL coach. That comes with the territory. There's no question about it. But the Panthers saw this as an opportunity to upgrade the quarterback position. And Sam Darnold is not just damaged goods. He still has talent. He is a bona fide leader. I have seen it firsthand, the type of player and the type of person that Sam Darnold is. And I will say this, Sam Darnold, if he is put into the right position, will thrive. He has that talent.
100%.
And you know what? Here's something that hasn't been talked about that much. The Panthers have the 8th overall pick in the draft. And prior to this trade, there was a lot of speculation that the Panthers were going to draft a quarterback. Well, now that they have a quarterback, a young quarterback, because Sam Darnold's only 24 years of age, the Panthers can do whatever the hell they want now. Now they're in a position where they could do one of two things. They can do several things. Number one, they could trade the pick to a quarterback needy team like the Patriots or somebody like that and get a boatload of picks and then just continue to add talent left and right. Or you could go for a home run in a Jamar Chase if somehow, he falls that far, which is always a possibility. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. You could get Penny Sewell. You can get Slater from Northwestern. You could do a multitude of different things now. Now it becomes even more interesting in that top 10. That top 10 has now become even more interesting with another team who originally didn't have a quarterback, now has a quarterback. Right. And that makes you wonder what's going to happen. So I'm really pumped for Sam Darnold. I think this is a great place for him to go. I think the only other place that would have been better is probably San Francisco, considering Shanahan and his play calling ability and the talent that he has around him. But I still think that Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna be okay. It's just his health that they're concerned about. It has nothing to do with can he not play quarterback? He can totally play quarterback. But for Sam Darnold, I am happy that he finally gets out of New York and that he goes to a place where he's not going to have huge expectations and he has good talent around him and probably going to be a good support system for him to flourish. And that is what Sam Darnold has wanted in his entire career.
Yep. And plus, I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize. But like I said before, he's also reunited with Robbie Anderson. And that connection, while they were with the Jets, was huge. Can you imagine that with the Panthers and with the solid offensive line this time? My goodness, they're going to thrive together.
And then you could add someone like Jamar Chase or Devontae
Smith.
Smith.
Thank you. So, and can you imagine if they added Chase or Devontae Smith to that mix? Oh my goodness.
I expect
that
the Panthers
offense is going to be nothing to sneeze at.
I expect the Panthers to win 9 or 10 games next year. I expect them to be a competitive team.
100%.
Now, let's shift to the Jets real quick. I don't really care because, first of all, the Jets made the bad decision to trade Sam Darnold. They shouldn't have done that.
Right.
They should not have done that. But we have to remember, Joe Douglas came in after Sam Darnold was drafted. You know, that Mike Maccagnan was the one that drafted Sam Darnold. Yes. Mike Maccagnan knew what he was doing. Mike Maccagnan, honestly, he made a lot of bad decisions. I understand that. And at some point, he was probably going to be fired.
Sam Darnold wasn't one of them, though.
But he knew what he was getting with Sam Darnold. He knew what he was getting. And basically, the entire time that Joe Douglas has been the general manager, what he has done is he's had to clean up the mess that Adam Gase continues to leave for him all the time. And he had to gut the team. He had to trade Jamal Adams, which honestly, now looking back on it, not necessarily that terrible of a decision considering that Jamal Adams has struggled at times in Seattle, but we'll see what happens in a regular season next year.
Right.
And you still have picks, and you gotta hit on them. You have to hit on them. And now you're going to completely draft a rookie quarterback. I don't think that's a good idea. And I know who they're going to take. They're going to take Zach Wilson.
Yep.
I think Zach Wilson is a bust. I honestly do. I don't think he's that good.
What?
No, dude, he played at BYU.
He hasn't played in an NFL game yet.
Okay, so if you want to say that, then why is everybody in the world saying that all of a sudden that, well, not all of the sudden, but that Trevor Lawrence is going to be great? He hasn't played a damn game in the NFL. We have no idea if he's going to be good.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
For all we know, in 5 years, every player that's drafted in this year's draft isn't in the NFL anymore. I mean, is that likely? No. Is it a possibility? Of course it's a possibility.
Right. No,
but
yeah.
Let me explain real quick, like the Zach Wilson thing. First of all, I think Zach Wilson has the same attitude as Johnny Manziel. He has this belief, he has this feeling in himself that he feels like the world revolves around him and that he's very cocky. He thinks that he's way better than he actually is. And that's pretty much it. And to me, that screams Johnny Manziel. It's the same thing. Now, do I think that Zach Wilson is more prepared and more talented than Johnny Manziel? Absolutely. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Do I still think Zach Wilson is a first-round quarterback? Yes. Considering the other guys, yes. I just don't think that he is the right quarterback for the Jets. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's fair.
I get it that I think that Mac Jones or Justin Fields. Actually, I think Justin Fields is the best option for the Jets because you know what the Jets lack more than anything else? They lack a leader. They had one in Sam Darnold, and they traded him. And remember, again, you look at the situation with Joe Douglas. You look at Robert Saleh. They don't have any relationship with Sam Darnold, basically. So they had every right to just move on. They probably wanted to get their own guy in there. And I get that. I totally get that. You know, you want to sink or swim with the guy. Look at Gettleman. Look at David Gettleman. He's going to sink or swim with Daniel Jones. Yep. He's going to sink or swim. That's it.
100%.
If it works out this year, then he's probably staying long term. If not, his ass is fired. That's just plain and simple. Just plain and simple. But another thing about this is that this continues to show that the Jets just don't care that much about winning. They don't, because they would rather have 21 draft picks over the next 2 years, draft guys who are going to cost them very little to nothing, and hope that maybe, and if they happen to win something with the young talent and a very, very low payroll, great. If not, who cares? Because by the time these guys get good, I mean, they're really in their prime, they're going to get traded away. This is the Jets. This has been the Jets, especially since Woody Johnson took over as the owner of this team. It's been this way. So to see the Jets do this is just disappointing, but also not surprising at all. You know, it just, you know, if you're a Jets fan, you look at that Malcolm in the Middle gif where it's like, I expect nothing and I'm still let down. Like that's really like what it's like to be a Jets fan in many different ways. So in this situation, it's good for Sam Darnold because he gets to get away from the Jets, away from that organization, away from all of that, and go to a smaller market in a team that is a little bit closer when it comes to rebuilding. They have some talent there in Carolina. They have a really good coach. They have a good offensive coordinator in Joe Brady, and they're going to be fine. And they clearly upgraded the quarterback position. I've been a big defender of Sam Darnold since he got in the league. I remember saying that I wanted the Giants with the second overall pick in 2018 to draft Sam Darnold. I obviously, do I think that the Giants made the wrong decision? No, because Saquon has been good. Saquon has been great many times. But I still think that it would have been better to take Sam Darnold in that realm. But again, we don't know what would have happened, considering the Giants situation. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the Jets now are clearly drafting a quarterback, and it's probably going to be Zach Wilson. I don't think he's ready for the New York media. I don't think he has the personality to thrive in New York. His arm is pretty solid. He can throw the deep ball pretty well.
Yeah.
But if that offensive line continues to be a train wreck like it's been in years past, he's not going to be throwing the ball very much. His ass is going to be on the ground quite often.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, again, if the Jets had the number 1 overall pick and they traded Sam Darnold, okay, I can see that. I can get it. But you don't. You have the second overall pick. And honestly, there is a pretty big talent difference between Trevor Lawrence and everybody else. The only guy that comes close is Justin Fields, and I'm really upset with the disrespect that Justin Fields gets. I don't get it. Maybe it has to do with because he's from Ohio State, and usually Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out in the NFL. But I really do believe that Justin Fields is going to be a really good quarterback in this league. And I'm sure Justin Fields will be glad not to play for the Jets because it'll put him in a position to go somewhere where he actually might have competent coaching. I'm not saying the Jets don't have competent coaching. It's a wait and see approach with Saleh. We don't know what Saleh is going to be, as a head coach. We just don't know.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we all knew this was coming. I was hoping against hope that the Jets wouldn't do it, that they would try to force somebody to give them way too much in an offer and get 30 picks, to have over the next 2 years. But they have chosen to go a different way. Sam Darnold goes to Carolina. Pretty excited about that. And we'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens in a couple weeks when the draft. Who knows? The Jets may not draft Zach Wilson. We'll see. But it is what it is.
Yep. Only the Jets. I actually have a interesting tweet here I want to read to you, Neil. This actually comes from Noel Fogelman on Twitter at @thefirstnoel19. Love that Twitter handle, by the way. So thanks for the tweet. He says the last 2 quarterbacks the Jets developed were Ken O'Brien and Chad Pennington. They sabotaged Mark Sanchez and failed Sam Darnold. Thank you, Noel. Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to bring up next. Mark Sanchez led the Jets the back-to-back AFC Championship games with Rex Ryan as their head coach. After that, they completely sabotaged his career. And don't even get me started with Tim Tebow. I'm not going to get into all that. But with Sam Darnold, they absolutely 100% failed this young man. They failed to see his potential and what he can really be. That young man is a bona fide leader. And now watch him go kick ass with the Carolina Panthers and let them show them that he is a bona fide leader. So, Noel, that is a fantastic tweet. I got to give you brownie points on that one, man.
Bro, that's just the Jets for you. That's just like, it is what it is. They've had opportunities to change the narrative about them, and they don't want to. That's just plain and simple. They are okay with being this way. The interest of the owners is not the same as the interest of the fans. And I don't know how many times I got to tell you guys this. This is a fact. And so we shall see what happens. I will not be surprised that within the next couple of years, Sam Darnold is rocking and rolling, and the Jets are continuing to flutter in the bottom of the National Football League. Oh, and let's also remind everybody that the Jets play the Panthers this year.
Yes, they do.
So that'll be fun.
In Carolina, I should add. So that's gonna be That's going to be interesting. Well,
I would prefer
if
it was in New York.
If it was at MetLife, then I would say it's going to be more interesting. But it's in Carolina.
That would be the only Jets game I would go to.
Yes, I agree.
I would wear a Panthers jersey, bro. And I'm a Giants fan, but I would be like, I'm full on Panthers, keep pounding, the whole 9 yards, and we're gonna start calling Sam Darnold Cam Darnold. That I didn't come up with that, by the way.
I like that.
Someone else came up with that, not me.
I like that.
Cam Darnold. I mean, it's gonna be, Sam Darnold's gonna be the Sam Chaz. Just you wait. Just you wait. And they just picked up his 5th-year option.
Yep.
So here's the other thing. If it doesn't work out, they can just move on from him. And again, they gave up mid to late round picks. So, I mean, if it doesn't work, they can just go and probably draft Sam Howell out of UNC next year.
Yeah, there you go. But look, at the end of the day, bottom line, the Jets will be the Jets.
Jets suck.
That's absolutely no question. But for the Panthers, look, I'm on the record saying I like the deal for both sides, but with the Jets, it's a major risk. Because if you do not hit on these draft picks, look, you already look bad. But if you don't hit on these draft picks, oh boy, it's gonna be a major, major disaster. But if you're the Panthers, good on you. 2 thumbs up for the Carolina Panthers. You got a bona fide leader and a 24-year-old young man in Sam Darnold. Now he has help. Watch him go thrive with Carolina, and now go watch them either get a wild card or possibly win the division. But we shall see. I'm not saying they're automatically going to win the division. They have a better chance of getting a wild card spot, but hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see how it all pans out.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because we don't know how good the Saints are going to be. Considering that you have Jameis Winston, you have
Taysom Hill,
the other dude. Basically, and they lost some talent, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I forgot who else is in it. I mean, you have the Bucks. I completely forgot that the Bucks exist,
or at least I
tried. So you got the Bucks, then you got the Falcons as well. So
the Falcons are nothing special.
So honestly, the Panthers, I could see them as a wild card team, unless the Bucks completely regress, which would be great. I'd love to see that. But yeah.
Yeah, no, the Panthers have a better chance of getting a wild card. I'm with you there. It'd be nice if they won the division, but hey, we'll see.
It'd be nice if they just made the playoffs, maybe even won a playoff game, and the Jets finished 3-13 and just utter garbage.
Finish 3-13 again.
Bro, be better than last year.
Well, that's true.
Was it? I already forgot. What was it, Jets? 3-13?
Yeah, they were 3-13 this past year. So if they go 3-13 again, that wouldn't be a shocker. But anyway, on that note,
they win more than 3 games. It's a miracle.
100% with you. And on that note, that'll wrap it up for this episode of the Bottom Line Podcast. What do you think about the Sam Darnold trade to the Carolina Panthers? Let us know on Twitter and Instagram at BottomLineWMCX and on Twitter at the NVP Show. Hashtag Bottom Line. Leave a voice message on the Anchor app board, anchor.fm. And as always, if you like what you're seeing on YouTube, drop a like and a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss an episode. Or subscribe on all audio listening platforms. Just include Jimmy when searching for this podcast. Let us know what you think of the Sam Darnold trade. Coming up in the next episode, NHL trade deadline is looming just a bit closer. We'll go over some of the big names that have been talked about all season long, especially one named Taylor Hall. A lot of speculation on him. Where will he go? We'll talk about all the big names in the next episode. NHL trade deadline recap is next. For Neil Villapiano, I'm Jimmy Finizzi. This is the Bottom Line Podcast. A little advice for you. Don't be like the Jets, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.